Would you look at the time? It's introduction o'clock. Yeah, you like that one? So, this time we are bringing back another remastered episode from the Purple Radio era with a very special guest. He was at the time a successful YouTuber with about 30,000 subscribers and is now a very successful YouTuber with 125,000 subscribers. I got to see him unboxing the silver play button he received in the mail for passing 100k, and I got to see that in person because he is not just a successful YouTuber, but a successful friend. He succeeds excellently at being my friend on the friend rating system I'm developing. One of the reasons he ranks so highly is because we've been working together on a creative project, which you'll hear more about when I have him on again in a couple of weeks. And you know what they say, nothing makes a better friend than one who can provide you monetary value through content creation. His channel is Cambrian Chronicles, which is also what I refer to him as in this podcast. We've been friends since high school, but he's a very private guy, and at the time we went as far as to pretend that we'd only just met. He's loosened up a bit on that now, which is why I'm telling you, this isn't a massive breach of his trust. But still, quite fairly, doesn't want his name out there, hence why throughout I call him by his channel name, which is a bit of a mouthful, but aren't all best friends a bit of a mouthful? God. He makes a smorgasbord, that's a great word, of videos about Welsh history, and we go in depth on his process of content creation, advice for those getting into this stuff, and also, for some reason, Mark Wahlberg and the Pope. I keep saying without further ado at the end of these bits, and I don't really want that to become a catchphrase, so instead, how about bombs away? I'll be seeing you in a little bit. Welcome back to the show, where I talk to comedians in the know. That's right. It's never as funny. It's never as funny. The show's it's called Never as Funny. It's the name of the show, by the way. Never as funny. It's the gist of it. The name. The show's called Never. This is like the title music. It's called Never as Funny. All right. This is Never As Funny. This time, I've gone on a unique special guest. So, say hello, Mr. Chronicle.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So, I guess why don't we start by, what kind of stuff are you doing right now? So, with the channel, what's your current kind of vibe?
Well, I'm trying to put more time into the channel, really. I don't have a lot of time with real life stuff. For example, my last video took me 3 months to make because there's other stuff going on. But all I'm trying to do is move towards putting more time into the channel. Hopefully in the near future.
Yeah.
Potentially.
It's a one-man team, right?
Yeah, just me. Not to sound really cheesy, but the people who watch it make it possible. Yeah, but really it's a one-man team.
And the people who subscribe to your $50 a month Patreon.
That's right, yeah. Exclusive $50 a month tier. I come to your house.
Yes.
I knock on the door at night.
You deliver a live Welsh history video to them. Maybe back out a little bit. Maybe describe what sort of stuff you make.
Yeah, it's Welsh history on YouTube. When I created my channel, it wasn't very popular. The immediate next day, a big channel uploaded a video about Welsh history.
No way.
I don't know if I'm allowed to mention other people's channel names.
No, yeah.
It's not like the BBC.
I think you can mention.
Okay, it was called Useful Charts. Uploaded a family tree of the Princes of Wales. Yeah. Literally the next day after I uploaded my video.
That's bizarre.
That's crazy. They copied me and they did it all in one day. That's crazy.
Do you genuinely think there's a chance at all that it was on purpose?
No, they literally uploaded a day later. This is a crazy coincidence.
Make a direct attack on...
Yeah, this is a call-out post.
Logan Paul took Welsh history.
Yeah, I'm going to do a boxing match. But no, it's funny. When I made my first video, barely anybody had talked about it. This might make me sound very weird. I actually have a chart for what I plan to do another video of all the Welsh history videos on YouTube. Yeah, I wanted to do a history of Welsh history on YouTube.
I really like that.
Yeah, thank you. That'll happen someday. So I have all of those videos charted out, and it was very unpopular for years. There's a huge gap. And then this year, it suddenly shot up a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've really contributed that much. I think people just on their own kind of come into it.
The way I found your first video was just typed Welsh history into YouTube.
Nice.
And I think because, it's going to sound like a backhanded compliment, I was going to say, because it's a relatively niche subject area, it meant that even back then, your video was one of the top search results, which I feel maybe that helped.
Was it the Kingdom of Gwynedd one, the very first one?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because for some reason that was on the top of the search for a while, actually. So that's why I actually found it through. Most people don't actually find me through search, statistically speaking. Most people through browse features on YouTube.
Browse features?
Oh, just like the homepage. And like when you watch a video on like the next up video.
Oh, recommend. Yeah, that makes
that's
sense.
like literally like, I think it's 80% of people who watch me are through there.
The Welsh history pipeline.
Yeah.
Like the alt-right pipeline on YouTube.
Yeah, but for Welsh history.
You click on your video, and you just drip in a little like, and this is why Western masculinity is falling, because after the Kingdom of Gwynedd, men started wearing makeup and...
Oh, no, don't give people ideas. I'm scared that's going to happen.
Actually, I want to ask, you say this in your video, but I'm very dumb, and so it takes me a while to absorb information. What exactly is Gwynedd? Because, like, the Welsh name for Wales now is it Cymru?
Cymru, yeah.
Cymru. So what actually is Gwynedd?
What do you mean, like the place or like the name?
I guess both. Like, is it a name that's still used at all?
Yeah, there's a modern day county in Wales is called Gwynedd. It's in the north.
Yeah.
Snowdonia is there. It's kind of hard to describe.
How connected is that to the original Gwynedd?
It's in the same place, roughly, all the way back in the day. That was like a medieval kingdom. Yeah. Called Gwynedd. Gwenedotta in Latin. And it was named after the Irish, possibly. Oh, yeah. I think in one of you talked about, I don't remember if this was just a story or it's a historical fact, but it was something about a lot of the foundation of it was people coming over from Ireland. David in the South, yes. They're really weird because a lot of the kingdoms, historically, if you read their own like charts, claim ancestry from a bunch of random people. Right. The Roman emperors, Jesus' mother. Ancestry from Jesus' mother? Mother, yes. The Kingdom of Gwyned's ancestry claims to be Jesus' mother's cousin. Oh. Yeah, like at the very top. I was going to say if it was directly from her, like intense blasphemy. Yeah, that's true, actually. I don't know if they were... Jesus' mother's cousin. That's crazy. The Pope should have called them out for that. Pope Francis. Yeah. Is Pope Francis still the Pope? I don't know.
Pope update. This is a Pope update. Pope Francis is indeed the Pope. Well done, Cambrian Chronicles. Your reputation remains secure. Back to the program.
I know the Pope now is like a fairly liberal one, and so he makes people angry because he says crazy things like women should be allowed to exist. But yeah, big up the Pope. Yeah. I love the Pope mobile. Have you seen that? I have. Are you allowed to big up the Pope on this? Do you have to get... Does someone have to come on? That's a good point. I mentioned this before. There's a purple radio rule, which is if we make a specific political statement, we're supposed to have someone on in 2 weeks who has the opposite view. Yeah, that's quite interesting. But I don't think we would have to, I don't know, get like Richard Dawkins on. Or Reddit atheist. The mods from like, what are those the mods from Anti-Work who are on Fox News? Do you remember that? No? Was that real? Yeah. There's a subreddit called Anti-Work, and I don't know a lot about this. They were invited onto Fox News, presumably like be questioned / kind of poked holes in that sort of stuff. And I don't remember, the mod was very much not the person you'd really want to represent the movement. Yeah. I think there's someone who like didn't like to work, but ended up being if you even just Google, it was a big fiasco. This generation don't want to work. Yeah. Why can't they just buy a house for £5? That's what I said to the homeless guy just now, actually. The one who lives in my house. Yeah, why don't you just get a home? Yeah, that doesn't make him a homeless guy. Anyways. Oh yeah, I was going to say, the way you were describing it sounded like modern Americans claiming ancestry, particularly the Irish thing. Like, I'm actually, I love clovers. I really relate to the Irish troubles. Like, my great-great-granddad was Irish, so, love St. Paddy's Day. I'm always scared that one day they're going to discover Wales. Ireland. Oh, you mean American? Yeah, they claim it from Ireland. In general, like it hasn't been found yet. Yeah, no, it's a secret location. That's why I can't describe Gwynedd very well, because no one knows where it is. But, they claim, like, ancestry for, like, Ireland, Scotland. I think that's cool, it's good to get in touch. This is where, like, your ancestry is from. But like you said, you get people super distantly related. And you hear stories of people going to Ireland and being like, I'm more Irish than you. But one day they'll discover Wales. They'll have like their own film. Yeah. And instead of like Braveheart, it'll be like one for Wales. Yeah. Owen Glendower or something. And I love Owen Glendower. I remember learning about him in school. Oh, really? Top lad. And also where I live, there's a Glendower Trail. Oh, okay. And I think it's a big trail that goes all over Wales. Yeah, because I only know it goes through Powys. Yeah. And it's the only part I know of. But I'm sure it's longer. Is it just where he went when he was guerrillaing? Yeah, I believe it's where he marched when he marched south. But I'm not sure.
Even though I always wanted to cover him, it's really hard to find actual like history on him because he's a big like nationalist figure. I don't want to read like a book being like he's the best guy ever, no faults, nothing wrong.
They're trying to cancel England.
Society is telling you that people have faults.
So there's we've got Gwynedd, which is one kind of kingdom.
Yeah.
There's Dyfed. Are these similar, like, are most of your videos set across a similar time period, the Middle Ages?
Broadly. Again, I have actually another chart of that. When I have a playlist of all the videos in chronological order, and it covers everything, technically speaking, from 100 BC to modern day. But Prince of Wales ends technically in the modern day with talking about like Charles and William for like 30 seconds. So technically speaking, you could watch that thing and you'd have like a vague knowledge.
Absorb all of Welsh history.
But the most focus is in the medieval era from after the Romans to before the conquest. That's my area of knowledge.
Yeah.
And really my area of knowledge is actually before about 1000 AD.
Right.
Which is kind of specific.
Why is your interest specifically there?
Well, I think my interest is everywhere. That's just sort of the stuff I've read the most, and I guess I found the most interesting. I do extra reading anyways, but I do extra reading the further out from that period it goes.
What's the preparation like for the reading?
So I'll have an idea first.
Yeah.
So I think of an idea in my head. Actually, I think of a lot of ideas in my head.
I tend to think of mine in my foot.
Yeah, that's true. I write them all down. Usually I put them on a poll on my channel.
Yeah.
See what people like, because that basically stops me from making something that no one cares about. Right. Which is what the first 9 months of my channel essentially were.
Yeah. Well, I guess at that point you didn't have, like, you had to get the audience first.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah, so I put them on a poll on my things. I think of the idea. I have a bunch of books about Wales. You never would have guessed.
Do you just find them online, or?
Most of them I've had over, like, various years. Yeah. Online, bookshops. Family have given them to me. Friends are giving them to me. Easy to buy for, apparently. My niche interest. So yeah, I just, like, think of the idea and I read about it. But I complain a lot. A lot of research you find, you can actually prove this yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of it's based on usually just Wikipedia. And a fun exercise you can do is if you find a topic and you can go onto the Wikipedia article and you can usually find the same sort of things, especially the ones about Wales that I've talked about a lot. Actually, they're not so much recently. The more recent ones I was talking about, they're actually pretty good. But the ones like a couple of years back, not so much.
Do you ever think about redoing or revisiting old videos?
Yeah, I did. It was my Union Jack one, the one that really like took off my channel. It brought me from 600 to about 6,000 subscribers in a month. That was that. I was Googling about Wales, trying to figure out like what the most asked question would be, which is a bizarre process, but I won't go into that. And that was the one that came up a lot. So I searched it on YouTube and I was like, oh, it's already been covered years ago. There's about 4 or 5 different videos on it. Yeah. So I thought, oh, give it a watch. And it's the same problem I mentioned in that video. It would say that Wales was annexed by England. It became like a part of England. And in my head, I was like, okay, but that was 300 years ago. And I knew there was like a lot of debate about the creation of the Welsh flag in the 1900s. So that made me think, well, there must be more. And there was. I had done a bunch of research. I looked on to try and find some like journals on it. And eventually I found a really good one about that specific one, apparently. And that was that video. And I became more, I don't know, I just sort of felt more frustrated because it didn't really take me very long to do. Yeah. And I just felt annoyed that all these videos were made, but they just like stopped dead in their tracks. Yeah. And also Wales wasn't a part of England. It was a part of the Kingdom of England. But a lot of them just seemed to say that just like stopped existing. Yeah. Which wasn't true. And that was also kind of just like, I don't know, just because it's not true.
Yeah, that's not good for a historical fact video. Yeah. Maybe it's because it's a relatively niche subject, so maybe it's just a thing of they feel like they don't need to put in the effort because people will just take it at face value. I mean, that's definitely a thing I know. I'm trying to be better at media literacy, they say. But I definitely will, like, if I watch a video, I'm most likely to just take it at face value and just absorb it as fact, which is, it's not a good thing.
I think that's pretty common. I always feel like I'm 100% right all of the time. But I think that's what I kind of grew up in that environment. And I've seen a lot of complaints about it. The YouTube history space. There's nothing wrong with just like being interested in history, but people do just like take it as fact, as you said. And if there's not a lot of care put into it, a lot of diligence, you sort of like make a video every week. You only have a day or two to write the script in the first place.
More about getting the video out than producing good content.
Yeah, it can just sort of have a lot of long-standing impact. There's so many like misconceptions about Wales that I've seen come from other videos.
Yeah, because even Wikipedia has at least some kind of moderation thing. Yeah. Whereas, as far as I know, anyway, YouTube doesn't have a, like, you could just say anything, presumably.
Yeah, you can. And even Wikipedia as well, which is another thing I've talked about on my channel.
Yeah.
With whales, which is such a small topic, it basically goes unnoticed. If you go onto the articles like now, a lot of the sources are from like the 1800s.
Right.
It's very outdated. I've tried my best over time to try and do more corrections and stuff.
On the Wikipedia article?
Yeah, I try my best to do some. It's always quite small. I feel like I never have the time to write out the whole articles and stuff.
Have you seen the scandal that came out of the fake Scottish Wikipedia account?
Yeah, the Scots language one.
Jump in if I'm skimming over a bit. From what I remember, it was a couple of years ago. There are a bunch of articles on the Scottish Wikipedia page which were written in quote-unquote Scottish dialect.
Yeah, Scots.
But it was just like, just like verbally what he thought Scottish sounded like.
Yeah.
And the guy wasn't actually Scottish. It was just all made up, basically insulting to the Scottish language.
Because, yeah, Scots. People debate if it's a language or a dialect.
Huh.
I would call it a language. If you ever hear actual Scots, you can't understand all of it. But yeah, he basically just typed English in a Scottish accent. And no one noticed because there's not that many speakers of it.
Yeah.
I really emphasize speakers, and there's not many speakers of it.
So I was going to ask about, because this is vaguely in theory a comedy podcast, and you put in quite a bit of humor into your videos.
I try to, I think, might be the better word.
Good
it is
humor.
An attempt.
It genuinely makes me laugh out loud a lot because it's often very unexpected and offbeat compared to what's going on.
Thank you.
Is that something you think about a lot?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've got two forms of a joke, quote unquote. Ones that are like actual jokes. Like I think of the punchline that I want. I actually think it's like good.
Yeah.
I'll ask people if they like it and I'll put it in the video. And there's like a couple of those. But the other much more large category, even though you said you found them funny, is stuff that makes no sense or just sort of comes out of nowhere. I find that funny. And I also, unfortunately, find the concept of someone not finding that funny.
I'm the same, yeah.
I find that funny so that I entertain myself with the worst thing ever. And sometimes I get confusion. Like in one video, talking about the past, I went to some 389 million minutes ago. And that was like a half-structured joke. Like, you don't expect that to happen. It also seemed kind of silly. And there's people genuinely confused. I had a guy comment who's like, bro, minutes? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Why not say years?
Take this video down now.
Oh, he seemed nice about it. It's just funny. Like, yeah, I guess that's a valid question.
I do the same thing, which isn't great for writing sketch comedy to go on stage. But my sense of humor is very much, I guess it's essentially not far from lol random humor, where anything that's very offbeat or juxtaposed makes me laugh. But I think that works really well with the videos you make, because I think it also helps with their accessibility. To someone like me, like I listen to a couple history podcasts because I'm an average white dude, so I don't know a lot about it. And that kind of thing really helps with the accessibility of it, I think.
Oh, I'm glad. That's my main driving thought, I think. I grew up watching YouTube. Yeah. Rather than like TV. For no reason, like we had a TV, I just didn't really watch.
I think a lot of people our age did.
Yeah, I think that's also why I complain about YouTube a bit. I don't know, it not sound super pretentious, but almost like a counter-cultural kind of thing. Yeah. I referenced to you before you started recording about Captain Disillusion. Yes. He's complained about people complaining about the YouTube algorithm before, and people get like annoyed with him about it. And people get annoyed with me about it before, about complaining about YouTube. But yeah, it's like what I've grown up with. So I end up like criticizing the sort of media I've grown up with. Yeah.
I think YouTube is something pretty much all of our generation has really grown up with. Yeah. Especially more now. I think much earlier on it was kind of more of a niche, nerdy thing. Like obviously the big thing early on was, I don't know, Angry Video Game Nerd and like Fred. Classic. But now it's at a point where like everyone is watching YouTube. Even my dad loves quad bike reviews and stuff like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. This is such
Shout
a
out
quad bike review.
This is such a non-take. I was going to say YouTube's good.
No, but that makes sense. So I like grew up with that, and I guess I wanted a different kind of presentation. Because I don't think my videos are really like good, I guess. I am not like a self-deprecating way, but like I don't know, it's just me with a microphone under a duvet.
Yeah, same. I mean, that's what this is. So
I guess I didn't want just like the facts, the Wikipedia article, kind of narrated. I wanted to have fun with it. I wanted to add humor to it, even if it wasn't very good.
No, absolutely, and it works really well. The performance aspect of it is really interesting and impressive, because stuff like history, which can be seen as kind of a dry subject.
Definitely.
Changing the performance of it, having humor and a casual tone, while also not skimping on the, what's the word, not being, while also being in-depth. Yes, information. Yeah. Is a unique skill.
Thank you, that's very kind of you.
So your videos have a lot of interesting visuals.
That's one way to put it.
That makes it sound like it's something really bad. Like, that's one way to put it. The dark web videos.
Yeah, if you watch it, it's actually always live streams of people's houses.
What's your process for making the visual design of your videos?
It's actually different nowadays. It used to be,
really?
I mean, it hasn't changed all that much, but I can't draw. As you can see in the very first video, that was my I
really love the little like stick figures with the like hair.
They're pretty bad. A lot of them, at that first video, a lot of the people I drew, I got bored of drawing. There's at one point, there's like a bald guy with like a duck on his arm, because I was like, I can't be bothered to draw an actual guy. It's like Conan something, but it was
You should draw yourself one of those YouTube avatars with the crossed arms.
Nah, especially because my icon's the Welsh dragon, so it's like, that's that's like 2012 like debate YouTube crossed arms.
Everybody gags each other crossed arms Welsh dragons.
I don't like the nostalgia critic.
Today we're talking about how they made Ghostbusters woke.
When they added Bill Murray to Ghostbusters, that's where I draw the line.
I'd love to make a video where it's like one of those cringe, they made Ghostbusters woke, but it's actually about the original because like Bill Murray's in it.
Yeah, honestly, I was happy watching Ghostbusters. I saw Bill Murray on the screen.
The woke left is trying to make you watch Bill Murray.
What are you talking about? What was the question?
We were talking about the visuals.
Oh, yes. I like to add Bill Murray in my videos. No, I couldn't draw. My original was Microsoft Paint. I downloaded Paint.net, the upgrade. The free there's other like free Photoshop tools.
GIMP?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. I've heard complaints about that though, apparently.
Really?
Like all their functions are like named weirdly. Something that put me off.
I mean, to be fair, the name itself is an odd name for...
Yeah, it's kind of scary. I would just draw really rubbish stuff. I had like a map, and my visuals were essentially a map of Wales that I drew.
Yeah.
That would be like on the screen the entire time, burned into my laptop at this point. Actually, a long time ago, I got a comment saying I should mix up the visuals. And at the time, I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah. But yeah, I did. I took his advice on board eventually.
Yeah.
And so nowadays, I have some like cool old maps in the background. Try to change the background a bit more than once per video.
So you make it in Paint, and then how do you put it together to record the screen and stuff?
This is where the curtain's fully ripped off. Have you ever heard of a very cool program called Microsoft PowerPoint?
I love that.
The very earliest videos were essentially just put onto PowerPoint, and I'd have to do a lot of maths to figure out when and where everything should be. And the first two videos, nothing was written down. So if you watch them and you see something out of time, in my defense, everything was in my head.
Oh, so do you write a schedule?
Yeah, for the timings.
Oh, wow, that's really interesting.
The first two ones were not. All the maths was done in my head. I don't know why I did that. It took me from August to November to make that first video, and that's probably why.
That would make my brain melt if I tried that.
Yeah.
So you have like a little thing with like time signatures.
Yeah, it's kind of complicated. There are definitely better ways of doing it. It's not all PowerPoint nowadays either. There's it's
Excel.
Excel, Word.
Microsoft Publisher. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that from like when I was a kid.
I remember using it in like my IT class at school once. I don't even remember what you do with it really.
I thought it was like a scam. You click on it, it downloads your data.
Download free RAM.
Oh, I remember that. Oh god, I wasn't literate enough to use a computer back in the day. I tried to mod Minecraft.
I remember doing that. Screwed up my parents' computer quite a few times.
Yeah, I thought that I did because I have a really old laptop and the fan like heat up whenever there was downloads going on. I was like, oh god, the viruses are in the fans.
I got the flu in there. So you said you use PowerPoint, but you've migrated to...
like free video editing programs, of which I cannot remember the name of.
That's great.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to the video editing program.
I'll really badly edit in my voice while you're saying the name. Let's do it now.
Okay.
Say the sentence of like...
Okay, so I use...
Pope Francis. Oh wait, hang on, that's the wrong one. Sorry, my bad.
I use
Open Chant Video Editor
to edit my videos now.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to find it in my own voice. It's going to be great.
Good. Yeah, let me know how it goes. Because I'm not going to listen to it.
I'm going to send this out completely unedited. It's coming up time for a little music break, but first, I have a very important question for you. It's quite a heavy question, so you don't have to answer it in depth.
All right, I won't.
But you're on a Boeing 4747.
I don't think that's a real plane.
It is in this hypothetical.
Okay.
You're on that plane. Suddenly, something happens. I don't know, maybe Mark Wahlberg's there. He takes out the engine. He goes down. You're in the middle of the Amazon jungle.
Classic
Everyone else is dead. You're on your own. But you've got one item with you. What's the item you got?
That is quite a tough question. Is Mark Wahlberg still around?
Would you like him to be?
No, but that would depend on the answer to my question.
Okay, let's say he's kind of on the verge of oh my god. He's on the verge of death.
Okay.
So he may or may not survive.
Okay. If Mark Wahlberg was about the place, like in like Predator, like that, so I would bring some sort of sonic repellent device.
Yeah. I
think, just in case he was around. But if he wasn't around, I think I would bring a helicopter to fly out of the jungle.
That's such a good ad.
This hypothetical Boeing 4747, the sequel to the 747.
Just bring another Boeing 747.
Yeah, I'd pull out the second plane.
Fantastic. Well, that's great. And with that, is there a song choice that you'd like?
I actually have no idea. I would like you to choose a song that, if you don't mind me turning back on you, I'd like you to choose a song that reminds you of Mark Wahlberg. You don't have to, you can choose it at any time.
A song that reminds me of Mark Wahlberg. It's a song that I really don't like. I'm going to play an un-Mark Wahlberg related song.
Yeah, sounds good.
It's a song I just found recently, and I didn't realize it existed, but it's the original version of Tainted Love. It's by Gloria Jones, I think.
Yeah.
It's very funky. It's Northern Soul.
I was going to say, have you ever seen the movie, Northern Soul?
No, but I had it recommended to me. I know Steve Coogan's in it, which is great.
Yeah,
He's a funny fellow.
Cool.
But yeah, here we go. It's Tainted Love, but I hope your love remains uncorrupted. Let's go.
All right, welcome to the middle section of the show. Now, I want to do something a little bit different this time, because since the song is my choice anyway, I could do whatever the hell I like, and you can't stop me. So, I'm instead going to give a little bit of clarification for all that Mark Wahlberg shit earlier by delivering the quote we're referencing, his quote about 9/11 and what he would have done. So here we go. In 2012, the actor, in an interview with Men's Journal magazine, said the following: "If I was on that plane with my kids, it wouldn't have went down like it did. There would have been a lot of blood in that first-class cabin, and then me saying, okay, we're gonna land somewhere safely. Don't worry." Alright, I think we should all take a moment to ponder that. I think we should all hang our heads in regret that Marky Mark wasn't there that day, because if he was, 9/11 and all its consequences would not have happened. I hope that's clear. Alright, with that, back to the show.
And that was Tainted Love by Gloria Jones. You're listening to Purple Radio, the local radio station. Anyway, let's get right back into it. I gotta stop saying that because that's the thing Keemstar says.
Let's get right into the news. I remember the drama around Keemstar. I was like a kid.
Yeah.
At the time. Well, I wasn't like way younger, but like a couple of years ago.
That whole era was really weird.
Yeah.
The H3H drama channels.
Yeah.
Leafy.
I was trying to think who that was. That CSGO Surf. There was the background.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to start putting that as a background on my videos now.
You should. That's the precursor to the Subway Surfers thing now in the background. And Family Guy.
Yeah.
This Cambrian Chronicles
video is funny as hell.
We've just been talking a little bit about comments before. And I know from YouTubers I've seen talk about it, it seems like it can be kind of a stressful thing. I was just wondering, like, what's your experience? Like, is it something you look at and use much?
I can see why people would find it stressful, especially big channels or channels that have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And I remember when I used to watch stuff, I'd think like, oh, how come people never really reply to comments? But on YouTube Studio, the thing that lets you see the comments, they're all in one block list, sorted by most recent.
For like all the videos.
For everything, for every single video. So if you've been like a YouTube for like 5 years, you've got like 200 videos or something.
It seems like a useless tool. Like
at that point, I think.
Yeah.
Most people are nice, like the vast majority, but you do get some people not so much, but you can just ignore them.
Yeah.
You can mute them from your channel.
Oh, right.
People who
do
like
that with live stage shows.
Yeah, well, that's actually what I was going to say. Like, it's like, have you ever worked in retail and you got like the really annoying person? You can imagine just like, they can just disappear.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
But it's just usually for people you get people who are kind of racist.
Yeah.
Or because it's YouTube. Like, you find racism funny.
Do you find... I love YouTube. Do you find that, especially with things like your flag video and things, do you find it attracts kind of nationalist stuff because of that?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. My Union Jack video got up to about 600,000 views. And then about 3 months ago, it suddenly got a boost of like 100,000. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Where's this all come from? And every comment was some bald guy being like, oh, it's the bloody Union flag. And it's actually not. It's people telling me it's called the Union flag.
Oh, so that thing about it's the jack, it's on a boat or something.
But it's actually both. Like the law that makes it the flag of the UK calls it the Union Jack. And some people would comment like, oh yeah, isn't it called this? But then this appears like, oh, you idiot, you stupid imbecile.
Union Jack, simple as.
Love me, dog. 8 Cambrian Chronicles.
8 Cambrian Chronicles. The idea that, because it's such a, you're not like making any big statements against anyone or anything.
No,
The idea of a Cambrian Chronicles hater is really funny to me.
I don't think I have any personally. I probably do, but,
Just sitting there enraged.
I hope I don't.
He's released another video. No! I gotta tell him about the Union Jack again.
I don't think I've never had people like comment across like multiple videos being like, I hate this. But no, most people are generally very nice. You can usually get some weird people. We've had some meet a couple people, but generally not so much. I never reply to them. Sometimes if they're talking about something like bizarre or conspiratorial, or like leave like an annoyed comment like, why didn't you mention this? And it's something that I have mentioned, especially my King Arthur one I just did.
Yeah.
So many people are like, what about this guy? I'm like, yeah, I brought that one up. You can find it right here on this timestamp.
You.
Literally.
So it's interesting with the view count. You say 600,000 on the Union Jack one?
I released that one in August of last year.
Yeah.
We were doing decent, and then just suddenly just shot up.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Is that normal? Like, do you tend to get a lot at the start, or do they come up and down, or?
It's kind of a mix. I think there's usually the trajectories that I've personally experienced is that they'll go up a little bit, and then they'll sort of flatline. That's like all my earlier stuff, because no one really cares. And then with the Union Jack one, it shot up and it just sort of kept like sort of increasing, I guess, because YouTube recommended it to more and more people because it's got like a good like watch time, a good people like click on it enough. So it gets recommended to more and more people and eventually it sort of peters out. It might get occasional boosts like the one I described before, but the majority of the views for me come within the first like a month or 2 or 3.
I find that kind of stuff really interesting. Like I'm not very good at it. I vaguely try and get the podcast out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Never really manage it and I never think much about it. Do you think a lot about things like how long the video is when you're releasing them, that kind of thing?
The first part, definitely. I always try to make the video no longer than it needs to be.
Yeah.
That's half because that's just like good practice, really, but it's also because it's so exhausting just like animating like a 30-minute video, which I've done twice now. Both times the script is not supposed to be that long. Believe it or not, my goal is to make it within 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Almost never ever reaches that.
Do you find you have a time that works the most?
My most popular videos have been less than 15, but the Union Jack one I think was only about 8 minutes long.
Huh. Yeah.
And the other one I did, about the Missing Kingdom was my other big one. That was 13 minutes long, I think.
Missing Kingdom. Atlantis.
That's
real.
No.
It's in Gwynedd.
Yeah. New video out today.
That reminds me of, I don't know, just thinking about the sea. I grew up in Wales, in Powys County. And in the high school I went, there was a girl who thought fully and refused to back down on it that Wales had an east coast. Like it was an island. It was just a thing that she just held on to.
The East Coast.
I kind of respect the commitment.
Did you say, was it in Powys?
Yeah.
Which is is in the east.
Yeah.
So she thought...
I guess she never went that far out. Big ocean is hiding.
Big ocean. Big Powys is hiding the fact that there's an ocean. Welshpool is a beach. There's a great beach town.
The golden beaches of Shrewsbury. So what was it like, the process of getting into all of this, like when you started it? What made you want to do it? How was it, the experience like?
Well, YouTube specifically, it's kind of weird. It was in a summer 17th of August, 2021.
The date of the end time.
The date of the first horseman of the apocalypse, myself,
It's going to be like, in the far future, it's going to be like the Franz Ferdinand assassination.
Association.
Yeah.
A bunch of good friends.
It's like one of the dominoes that caused World War III.
Yeah, that would make sense. I can't think of a scenario that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, if someone got really angry at the Union Jack video, decided to launch a land invasion of...
That's not my most controversial comment video.
Really?
But judged by like to dislike ratio, my lowest like to dislike ratio ever is 97.5%.
Damn, that's really good.
Yeah, it's not bad. To be fair, YouTube did remove dislikes.
Oh, yeah.
People still do, but it wasn't the Union Jack one. It was a different one. Anyways, I created my channel in August of 2021.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was kind of just doing nothing.
Right, yeah.
Which is kind of what happens.
Was it something you'd wanted to do for a while, do you think?
I'd had made YouTube channels before.
Yeah.
I'd had ideas for other YouTube channels before. I never actually really made it. And for some reason, a video by a guy called Roberto Blake was recommended to me.
Oh, nice.
He's like a YouTube, I don't want to say YouTube guru type, because I actually find he was actually helpful. No, I'm kidding. A lot of the guru people are actually quite helpful, but he's like the most helpful.
Yeah.
If for some reason it was just recommended how to create a YouTube channel in like 2021 or something.
Yeah.
And I have no idea why, because I think I have a vague idea, because I'd watched some stuff about script writing before, and I watched some stuff about filming before, so I guess YouTube assumed. And that, for some reason, really inspired me. I felt like I really wanted to make it and actually put effort into it. Unlike my past creations.
Yeah.
Which are lost media. That's my current creation. All my oldest videos are pretty much exactly like my previous one. Maybe it'll be discovered one day, the old archives.
Yeah.
Hope not.
The forbidden Cambrian Chronicles.
Lost media, yeah. Actually, I have no idea if they're still up. They might be delisted.
One of those like channels is going to do a video that's like, welcome back to spooky YouTube Lost Media.
Yeah, they're my favorite channels.
In August 2021, Cambrian Chronicles released a video titled Mark Wahlberg and the Powys Conspiracy. The video mysteriously disappeared soon after Mark Wahlberg's disappearance. I don't know, I've locked onto Mark Wahlberg in this episode for some reason.
Hyperfixation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd made stuff before, and I actually wanted to make something good. As I said before, I wanted to have like a better sort of presentation. I wanted to make videos about something I was interested in, that was important to me. Yeah. That was actually like accurate. That wasn't really talked about, like I said at the time, but now suddenly it is. Yeah. Not to do with me. I generally don't think. And yeah, I thought it was interesting. Wales is like the most niche of like the Anglo sort of sphere countries. Yeah. Like places where English is spoken a lot. You know, everyone knows England, America, Canada. Get very choked up. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, Scotland. And no one really knows anything about Wales, I think. And yeah, like I said, with some of the videos on it before, people still didn't really know anything about Wales. I saw that video, for some reason became inspired. I wanted to create my own thing to try and like do better, I guess. And I think that's always how it works. I wasn't the first person to ever talk about Wales. And I won't be the last person. No, there's a bunch.
You're the first person in this chat.
It's like being serious. But like, yeah, I wasn't the first to talk about it on YouTube. Yeah. To make animated videos about it on YouTube. I won't be the last, definitely. But I don't know, I guess I want to do it right. Yeah. If that makes sense. I want to do a good job. And I think I have. I got lots of comments, people saying, my favorite was like, a guy actually commented on my second video, like, I had no idea Wales could be so interesting.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like the whole thing, because that's also part of the reason. My titles are kind of strange. I don't really include Wales in them nowadays. Huh. It's my own theory that it provides a sort of barrier to entry.
Yeah, that makes sense, because more specific.
Yeah. So if I have to mention something, I've mentioned England before, because that's something all the English speakers will know. Don't mention Wales so much, just because I feel like that kind of puts people off, even people who are interested in that sort of stuff necessarily.
Do you have a process that you go through for making titles?
I do nowadays. I used to not. I thought about this a lot. I think there's two sort of ways to title something. Right. This is going to make me sound like some sort of guru. It's not. It's literally just my own thoughts that I think to myself.
And you can find out the rest by subscribing to Udemy course.
I don't know what that is.
It's like masterclass, but not as good.
Oh, fire. Scathing. Local podcaster slams masterclass.
Yeah.
But I think there's two ways to title a video. I think you can be sort of like encyclopedic,
Yeah.
a sort of library style, which is what my first ones are like. Kingdom of Gwynedd.
Yeah.
Kingdom of Gwynedd. If only I could remember other videos I've made. What happened to these old Welsh letters?
Yeah.
I was kind of playing around with that one. Ceredigion, Dyfed. They were all sort of very like categorical.
Yeah.
So then I tried to mix it up a bit more by making something that sounded interesting, which kind of sounds basic, but the real reason why Wales isn't on the Union Jack.
Right, yeah.
That, to me, sounded really interesting. I just thought of it. I wrote down about 20 different titles. That was the last one I wrote down.
Yeah.
As the last one, I was like, actually, I think this one is the best.
I noticed that a lot of, because obviously video essays are very popular right now, and I watch way too many, but a lot of them, it won't be like a review of, I don't know, what's a movie?
Spy Kids 5.
Yeah, it won't be like Spy Kids 5 review. It will be like the best movie of all time.
Yeah.
And then so like you click on it to see what the movie is.
Yeah. Some like Slovakian animation that's like not even that bad. They just didn't have a very high budget. And the guy's like, no way.
I can't believe it. I'm so angry.
How dare they?
I think they should bring back that early era of YouTube where they all of the dumb character, like angry video game nerd.
Angry Video Game Nerd is, I think, one of the best YouTubers ever, just because he spawned that whole genre. How does one guy create what became like half of the YouTube videos I've ever seen?
I think I watching YouTube after he was a thing.
Yeah, me too.
But all the channels that I watched growing up were all clearly inspired by his thing.
So that's the case for me as well. Like, that's just sort of how things work. It's crazy just to think like you can have just like individual people who inspire so many people. It's kind of weird to think about.
So would you recommend then getting into YouTube, or like what would you suggest to people who think it might be a thing for them?
Definitely, I think the titles and the thumbnails are like the most important thing. I've sort of come to realize, to the point I don't actually even bother with a video if I can't think of like a good title or a thumbnail for it.
Right, yeah.
Which also some people are put off, actually. I've heard people talk about how they don't really want, they just want to make whatever they want to, and I think that's perfectly fine, but I think that kind of lends itself to like a slower kind of paced growth.
Yeah.
So like if you just want to like do it for fun, I think that's perfectly fine. If you want to make it like bigger,
successful,
even though I'm not that, I think, but
well, you say that, but it's a pretty incredible growth you've had on that channel.
Well, thank you.
It's like you were saying, one of your bigger videos, 600,000 views, which is it's pretty incredible.
It's kind of weird to think about because it doesn't feel like a real number. It's too much of a number to think about.
A stadium of people is kind of crazy.
And I always like, I don't know, it doesn't sound like cheesy. I'm always so grateful that people liked it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It takes a long time. So what I'd say if people want to get into it is that, I don't know, like I think if you go for it, and what I was afraid to at the start was to like change. Like I liked the way they looked, I liked the way the title and the thumbnails were, and it wasn't working. And I almost gave up on my Dyfed video, which took like 8 weeks to make, and it didn't do very well at all at the time. I really, really almost gave up. Instead, I decided finally, with some encouragement, I needed to like change something. Yes. And that turned out to be the titles and the thumbnails. And nowadays, the visuals can as well. I'm still working on that. Yeah. If you want to try, you should go for it and not be afraid to adapt and change. Yeah, definitely. I will soon, again, most likely have to adapt and change. Yeah. Just try and get better.
With all creative stuff, like with a lot of the comedy I do, it's one of the hardest things because creative stuff takes a lot of work, takes a lot of emotional energy. You care about what you're doing, and putting emotional energy into something you think is great and it just doesn't work and it doesn't grab people, either because it's not inherently good or just because of luck.
Yeah, and that's true. There's a lot of really sort of unpredictability, like luck about YouTube. And my first video got on the top of that search result I told you for a while. I don't know why necessarily, just sort of did. Yeah. My Union Jack video, I thought it was going to be popular. That's a question a lot of people asked, but it'd been answered before. And I had no reason to think that anyone would watch that. And that is, like you said, really tough.
It can be crippling, but it's also, like you were saying, you found the grit to push through that and use it. And that stuff is incredibly useful. Having those experiences is what gives you the experience, is what I was going to say.
Yeah, well, it's true.
Which is a dumb sentence. But it's true. You need to go through that to build from it and learn how to improve.
Yeah, definitely.
Getting stuff out there.
I think, honestly, again, I don't want to sound like some guru.
No, you don't. I think you're a guru.
No, I don't.
You are the Welsh guru.
No, I absolutely refuse that.
Too bad. I'm going to cut out you denying it. And then I'm going to
edit me in saying, I am a guru. No, but obviously I'm just like a guy. But I think you can only really learn from failure.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of people say, but I don't know how many people acknowledge. That's
on a surface level, but
yeah. That's something I myself did. I was like, oh, I gotta fail.
Yeah.
Oh, I failed.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
But everything I've improved upon is because something else did worse. So, I did the titles and the thumbnails are different because the other ones didn't work.
Yeah, absolutely.
For example, the visuals changed because the other ones weren't very good. Videos that didn't do very well, and actually trying to just figure out why they didn't do very well. And if you do that, then that's a super valuable experience.
Yeah.
I think that's true for everything. So I guess that's actually the thing. If you want to do anything creative, and I'm sure you'll agree, you have to not be afraid to fail.
Yes.
If I want to be cheesy, if you want, those Sigma pages.
Yeah.
Get a lion, put in the quotes, you have to not be afraid to fail.
So true. Not just not be afraid, but also embrace it, because it's an incredibly useful part of the process.
Definitely.
Now, I did tell you about this beforehand. It is a little bit of a throw on you because it's not quite your specific forte. But as I like to do on this show, I've brought in a little sketch I've written. It's a first draft I did a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Never been performed anywhere.
So I look forward to absolutely ruining it and
now
never be able to perform it again.
Oh, don't worry. Most likely thing's going to happen is you're going to be surprisingly good, and I'm going to be passively aggressively annoyed because you've just done it out of it. You're going to be like the best performance of all time.
The Oscars call me up, say, hey.
You're going to refuse to put it out because it makes me look bad.
Yeah, I guess I should say I do not do comedy, as in performance.
Yeah.
So probably going to be really bad.
Good. I do it, but not very well, so it's all good. And I probably will cut this bit out of me looking for it on my Google Drive.
I mean, I've got it already ready, so...
Well, that's great.
Some people aren't as professional as me. I actually memorized the whole thing as well. Actually, there's only audio, so they have no idea that if I've memorized or not. I've memorized this whole skit. I wrote the skit, actually.
Yeah.
Prove that I did.
This is true. In fact, this is all improv, which is really good.
Yeah. So,
this sketch is titled The Vampire. Something funny.
I'm really scared. I'm going to be so bad.
Nah, it's so good.
Okay, I'm Renfield, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you give me any direction? How am I supposed to act? Coy, shy,
coy,
elusive,
seductive. So he's kind of the straight man.
Okay.
I'll read the first little stage direction. So, a room somewhere deep in Dracula's castle, Romania. A single shaft of moonlight filters through the window, revealing a coffin. The walls are old stone, coated in dust and cobwebs. Renfield enters from stage right, wringing his hands with trepidation.
Ma'am.
It was absolutely fine. It made me crack up because I could hear the moment where you lost it halfway through.
My voice broke. You have to cut that out because that's going to kill someone's eardrum.
I'm definitely going to keep it in and edit because that was so funny.
Master.
Renfield, how dare thou rouse me from mine slumber?
Well, I'm back from virgin hunting, sire. I thought you'd like an update.
Oh yes, that's fair actually. Sorry about that, I haven't had my coffee yet.
Well...
I don't drink coffee, of course.
Yes, I know.
Just a little joke. Right, well, okay, go on then. Where are the virgins? Bring them to me.
Well, that's sort of the issue. I couldn't get any.
I just made a joke. Don't make 2 jokes in a row, that's bad pacing.
I'm not joking, sire.
Then what the hell have you been doing? Renfield, I need the blood of virgins. I need that sauce.
I know, it's just the truth is... So most people these days will find it weird if somebody's wingman checks if you're a virgin.
Preposterous.
Well, what's more, sire, is that it's quite a trek to the castle.
But have you explained to them the opulence, the riches, the jewels? Please say you told them about the jewels.
The trouble is that it's not quite that opulent by modern standards. You have no running water, no heating.
I have Wi-Fi.
Yes, master, but it's very slow. I have to spend a week downloading an episode of Kitchen Nightmares before I can watch it.
You do like your kitchen nightmares. Go on.
Yes, sir. I like it when the Englishman shouts. I find it arousing.
Yes, but what of my looks, my charm?
Again, master, standards have changed. A lovely young woman kindly described her ideal gentleman to me. She said, I need me a malnourished boy who don't listen to music. I mean sickly, like straight from a famine, that he can give me head like he hungry.
Give head like I hungry? I never hunger. I feast on the delicacy of the human soul.
Have you considered a dating app, master?
I'm afraid of them, Renfield. You know I have no game.
Look, come here, I'll help you set up Tinder. Come and see.
By the stars, she is a beauty. And look, Renfield, virgin.
Ah, a Virgo, master, and it's not the same.
Blast. Still, bring her to me. I would see this Virgo.
They're here.
Excellent. Bring her to me.
Well, master, there's a problem.
Yep.
You've been catfished, master. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that, big fella. My name's not Alessandra. Either. It's Dave.
In hell, Renfield! Is he even a Virgo?
To be honest with you, Gov, not really. Funny though, I am a virgin.
Come here, Dave.
Blooming heck, mate, what are you? A blooming vampire?
With Tinder, the blood of virgins is just a swipe away. Download the app now.
It's bloody brilliant.
Beautiful.
I think I faded in and out of an accent.
I also did the same. I wasn't really sure what Dracula would sound like. I mean, I could have done a very sketchy Eastern European accent.
No, probably.
Yeah. So I decided to go posh, but then it slipped from kind of classical posh into like raw boy for a while. Where's my blood?
Perhaps you could tell my laughs. I hadn't read ahead beforehand.
Yeah. You honestly did very well. Whenever I read something for the first time, I'm constantly tripping over and like having to redo bits.
Well, I'm glad that went okay.
That was great.
I didn't even perform in like primary school. I wasn't allowed to have speaking parts for reasons you have just seen.
It's because you would always say lines like that on improv. I also realized, I literally did this the exact same time with last time I brought my own sketch on the show, where I forgot it had swearing in it. But luckily this isn't live, so I'll just put on a really annoying censor beep over. Beep.
You can use that audio of me.
Yeah, do it again. I'll use that.
Beep.
Perfect. So, on that bombshell, this brings us towards the end of the show. Is there anything, Mr. Cambrian Chronicles, that you would like to plug?
I guess if you find my voice not all that annoying, you can listen to me on the YouTube channel Cambrian Chronicles. If you find it very annoying, you can go on there, leave a comment telling me that.
Yeah.
I'll email it to you back.
I'm not
What? You never done that
I couldn't react. I did. Yeah. Anyway, you can find me at Joe Biden Official on But for real, I have been Patrick. My guest has been Cambrian Chronicles.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time. What's goodbye in Welsh?
Hwyl fawr.
Hwyl fawr.
My accent's not very good, but it's...
That's okay, mine's worse. Let's say it in unison.
Hwyl
fawr.
Thank you for making it all the way to the end of the show. As always, you can find us on Instagram at NeversFunny, all one word, all lowercase. The music used for the Pope section was Gregorian Chant by Kevin MacLeod. The music for the title section is, as always, There It Is, also by Kevin MacLeod, both from Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license, http://creativecommons.org/licenses/by/4.0. See you next time.